Hey guys, what's up? 2016 sucked. And in so many various differing ways. Hey guys, what's up? 2016 really sucked. In a lot of ways. And one of those ways was movies. Movies really sucked this year. Or rather, last year. But since the Oscars are here, I figured might as well name the movies that didn't suck from 2016. So here's my favorite movies, and I only have 12 minutes on my phone because I was too lazy to use a camera. So we're gonna go through these really quickly. So let's start with some honorable mentions. Arrival, Finding Dory, and Moonchester by the Sea. With those out of the way, let's get started. Number 10. Number 10. Captain America Civil War. Yeah, sometimes I kind of forget that this came out in 2016. It feels like forever ago. But regardless, Captain America Civil War is probably the best blockbuster I saw last year. It has so many great elements to it, and while it's not entirely, I don't know, together as a cohesive whole with all the, plot threads that don't add up and all that, it's still so entertaining, and it makes me so excited to see Black Panther and Spider-Man again on the big screen. You really feel the emotion in these performances because we know these characters and we know what they've gone through. Hell, Robert Downey Jr. probably has the best performance of the entire movie, and we've seen him play this character forever, basically. So it's crazy to see these guys go through such emotional turmoil. So it's crazy to see the emotional turmoil at stake in this movie. Plus, it has some pretty great action as well. Number 9. Hell or High Water. Hell or High Water is an Hell or High Water is an incredibly engaging movie with Jeff Bridges being all Jeff Bridgesy and I'm gonna get you kids, and he's chasing Chris Pine and Ben Foster, who are like brothers who are Robin Banks, and it's a pretty straightforward movie, but it's incredibly fun. There's a few boring, dull parts, but they really go unnoticed largely because the rest of this movie is just so engaging with so many great moments, and it ends on the absolute perfect note. There's this one final scene between two of the characters that I won't spoil what it is, but it just ends so perfectly. There's this one scene between two of the characters who hadn't interacted yet throughout the entire movie until the very end. And their scene together is just so great and it ends on the absolute perfect note. Definitely go check this one out. Number 8. Number 8. Zootopia. You know, the first time I saw this movie, I wasn't that impressed. I mean, I liked it, and I did notice all the racial stuff and all that stuff that ties into modern day America, and I thought that was pretty good. But I don't know, there was something about the characters and the story that just sent. But thankfully, upon a repeat viewing, I really appreciate. But thankfully, upon a repeat viewing, I really came. But thankfully, upon a repeat viewing, I really came to appreciate just how well done this story and these characters are. I think it was just because furries exist that they kind of ruined this movie for me. That or the nudity. That or the nude colony scene. Yeah, it didn't sit well with me. But yeah, Zootopia is an incredibly powerful film, and while there are some parts of the story that I'm not a big fan of, it still just comes together so well with these characters and this really great message it's trying to portray, you know? Obviously, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah, insert Trump metaphor here. You know they're gonna do that at the Oscars, so. Regardless, this is a fantastic movie, and while I'm not sure I'd put it into my top 10 favorite Disney films of all time, it's probably top 15. So there's that. Also, it references Breaking Bad, so that's good. Good job, movie. Number 7. Shit, what was number 7? I forgot. Oh wait, okay, I got it. Let me do that again. Number 7, Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures is a powerful, dramatic movie about three African American women working at NASA, trying to fight back against the racism and prejudice of people like Dr. Sheldon Cooper. Seriously though, Jim Parsons is in this movie, and it's like, does this guy have any range as an actor whatsoever? Because like The character he plays is just Sheldon Cooper. It's not even a character. He's literally just Sheldon Cooper in this movie, and it's so funny. It's kind of distracting, honestly. Regardless, Hidden Figures is a very well done movie. I wouldn't say it's fantastic in terms of how it was filmed or directed or anything like that, but it doesn't really need to be. It's about these three women and the incredible portrayals from these three actresses, and it's just about this really inspiring story. It doesn't need to be like a fantastically. It doesn't need to be like have fantastic production values. Its production values are fine, and it's more about these performances and this story, and it's really great. I really got wrapped up in this movie. I was invested. It was also I got wrapped up in the emotion. I was invested. It's really great. I'd say it's not as intensive as something like Selma, but it is more, I don't know, heartful, I guess. Is that a word? I don't know. It has more heart, and you really get invested in these characters and just what they're going through. Actually, a good way to describe it is it's kind of like The Help, but, for adults. Ooh, shots fired. Disclaimer, I actually kind of like The Help, but, yeah. Great performances, just an overall great story. It is a little slight in terms of, its portrayal of, how prejudice was back then, but it's still powerful and still a really great time. Number 6, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I went into this movie not seeing the first. 10 Cloverfield Lane is about 10 Cloverfield Lane stars John Goodman as Harry S. Plinkett, a crazy guy who kidnaps a woman named Nadine, played by Mary Elizabeth Stone Wine something, I guess. That lady. And they both play their parts really well. They're kept in this bunker, and he says they can't go outside because the air is toxic and stuff, and she doesn't know if that's true or not. And you're like, is he lying? Is he not? Is he a good guy? Is he not? And you're just wondering, this whole time, if John Goodman is, a good man, or not a good... Okay. Also, there's another guy down there in the bunker with them, and he's played by... Mort Stiefel? So, yeah. Somehow in this confined setting with only 3 actors, this movie is incredibly well made and interesting. It's so well done from beginning to... Ew. Okay, let's talk about the ending without spoiling anything. It's vastly different from the rest of the movie, and everybody hates it from what I hear, and... I don't hate it, but it's... Okay, just basically when you think this movie has logically come to its conclusion, you can stop watching. That's all I'll say. I don't really fault this movie for its ending or whatever, and whatever. I just think it's a very well-made thriller about these 3 people in this bunker. It's incredibly great. John Goodman really should have been nominated for an Oscar for this performance, but whatever. And go watch it. Number 5, Moana. Zootopia was great, but Moana for me was definitely the best animated film of the year. It's a lot like Kubo, except it has an interesting main character and it's not totally boring for the first hour. Ooh, I can just picture those death threats I'm gonna get right now. Moana captivated me from beginning to end with incredibly likable characters, a very simple story because I'm honestly tired of Disney films trying to surprise me. Like Frozen, Zootopia, Big Hero 6, they all have those twists and it gets old after a while. And the music especially is just amazing. I love these songs. I mean, what do you expect, it's Lin. Such great music, and if you couldn't tell, I'm a very big fan of one song in particular. Yeah. Now, to be perfectly honest, Moana is probably in my top 5 favorite Disney films of all time. In fact, not even probably, it's number 4. Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Hunchback, in case you're curious. Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Hunchback, in case you're curious. Moana is just such a great film, and it belongs up there with the greats. I wouldn't say it's perfect. It has flaws, like the water. Why can't the water just solve all the movie's problems? Like, honestly, the water seems like kind of a dick. And there's that one moment where the heroes have to split up just because, and they have to be mean to each other and whatever. I mean, It's in every Disney film these days. It worked in Wreck-It Ralph. It worked in Zootopia. It just doesn't work here. Like the stuff Maui says to Moana at that point are just out of nowhere, and they're so mean and just yeah, no. But thankfully, the characters are still so good. And then Maui just comes back later anyway, and they don't even explain why. He's just back. It's just like whatever. Let's just start the climax. Fortunately, though, everything else about this movie is fantastic. I love it so much, and Mad Max references for the win with those Kakamora guys. Everything about this is great. I love it. Moana and Maui are such great characters. The Rock is so good as Maui. Just everything about it. I love Moana. So good. You should watch it again and again. I've watched it like 5 times already. It just gets better and better the more I watch it. Number 4. Alright, you guys, it's finally time to talk about that movie starring Ryan Gosling set in LA. The Nice Guys. The Nice Guys is the kind of movie that just doesn't get made anymore. Like, it's this 70s cop thriller thing, buddy cop movie, and it just reminds me of how movies like used to be before there were all these big budget Hollywood explosion stuff, either that or artsy stuff. This is like neither. It's a hysterical genre comedy. It's a hysterical genre comedy starring Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe as these two cops, and Ryan Gosling has a daughter in this movie, and she's pretty much just as involved as those two, and she is so funny. They are both so funny. This is easily the funniest movie of the year, and there's so much great stuff. The first half of this movie is basically all joke, 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 and they all hit. It's incredible how funny this movie is and how consistently good it is at making people laugh. I was like, I'm not one to laugh excessively in the theater, but this movie had me like literally dying on the floor, and no movie this year had made me do that other than this one. And and then the second half of this movie is a lot. In the second half of this movie, the jokes kind of slow down, and it's more driven by the plot, which is honestly pretty fine. The plot is actually really good, and like you're wondering what's the next twist is going to be, and it's really well done.